the time I spend.
Fair enough. Today on DNVR Buffs Live, what is the proper amount of time to spend at the gym? No, a lot to talk about and digest from Coach Prime's presser today. Everything from number of retirements to spring portal plans and everything in between. We digest it all right now. Let's get it. Let's go,
squad! Coming to you live from the Toyota Lounge, driven by your Front Range Toyota stores. It's DNVR Buffs Live. Happy Thursday. Happy portal season. 2 days away from the spring game. We heard from Coach Prime today. Lots to get to, but how are we doing?
I just saw TZ's comment and it made me start laughing about that whole situation all over again.
Poor guy, man.
Hey, it ain't easy, man. It ain't easy being in front of that mic all the time. But
facts.
But hey,
I'm just glad I got like 3 months of talking to Carl Durrell and Coach Sanford before I was thrown in front of Coach Prime. So
before you're just on a national stage every time you enter a press conference.
Yes, literally.
Oh man.
All right. Let's get to Coach Prime. He spoke to the media today ahead of Saturday's spring game.
By the way, if I ever get the chance, I'm throwing y'all under the bus in a presser.
I heard from Jake Schwanitz at DNVR that
some people are saying that the Browns are going to draft Shedeur. Who? This guy right here.
Oh no. I'm dead.
Let's get to it though. The jersey retirement thing. It's just unavoidable. Everyone's still got to get their takes off on it. Coach Prime spent like 5 minutes addressing this today. In 2 questions, touched on basically every aspect of the whole thing. Let's just get to it then?
Yeah, play it.
All right, here's Coach Prime on the whole entire jersey retirement controversy. Oh, we're waiting. What's up, Shay? What's up, Big Teasy, MLN,
Easy.
Cam? All right, here we go.
Hey, Coach. Pat Graham, Associated Press. Nice to see you. First of all, congratulations to Shedeur and Travis with the retired jerseys.
Amen.
You know, retired jerseys can be a sore subject. For
Not
some
really.
alums.
This is the first time I ever seen it sore.
That's
I don't know if you know it, but I'm retired. I think every jersey Darren I played in is retired. So I'm pretty familiar with this. So it's never been sore.
But why do you think that? What was your message like? Maybe Buff Nation and Buff alums who are
I don't have
why
a message. I'm praying for my AD. I love him to life, Rick George. Let's get the elephant out the room. I don't want to talk about this too long. I'm gonna just talk briefly and let it go. We talking about Shedeur. We ain't talking about nobody else. But his last name wasn't Sanders. We wouldn't have this discussion. The only reason we were having this discussion is his last name is Sanders. Okay, that's it. It's been so many things accomplished at this university expeditiously. It's been unbelievable. And I think we should be appreciative. We should be thankful. We have a room full of wonderful people that covers us. And I don't know if you all were in this room 2-3 years ago. Very few. Okay, but it's a new day. We're doing things a little different. I think the training table, I think the food is better. Nobody said nothing about that. It's a whole lot of things that are brighter and they're better because someone stands on business and makes it that way. And he is resilient when it comes to it being that way because everything we do is to improve everything for us. I think it was hot in here. One time I said, let's turn the darn air conditioner on our night game, right? The next time we came in, what happened? I think about those details because it don't just benefit me, it benefits what? All of us. So if all of us are happy, all of us should be happy. I'm not going to be critical of you because I didn't get what I want. I don't get down like that. And the root to all of it is personal. Sometimes we got to get out the way, man, and just be thankful for our people, others. Love thy neighbor as thyself. That's what the Bible told me. If we loved that neighbor truly, we wouldn't have a problem with nobody else.
Because this should be a big honor for him, and yet it's being met with this. How's
He don't care. Let's get this straight. He's a Sanders. He don't care. Travis don't either. I don't either. I think it's a beautiful day, blessed day. These guys are thinking about the draft, man. They thinking about where they're going to spend their career. That's what they're on right now. But we're thankful that Buff Nation has been gracious. They've been wonderful. I feel like we have the best fan base ever, especially over the last 2 years. I can't comment before because I wasn't here. So it's hard for me to attach myself to something that wasn't because I was not here. But the last 2 years has been phenomenal, man. It's going to be a better place. That's why I call it home now. I get mail here. I don't know if y'all know it or not.
Going back to the retired jersey conversation, have you chatted with Rick about honoring the past in addition to obviously Travis and adding some of these guys
I'm not
that predated, that are all Americans and college Hall of Famers and all that?
Into that. I'm into coaching football right now. Like I don't know if you saw this, and I want you to make note of this. I had a wonderful idea one day. Why am I just talking about these guys that certainly going to get drafted? I'm going to talk about all my guys because I love all of them. And if it weren't for them, I wouldn't be where I am now. So I did a personal video for every kid that's getting ready to go in the draft that are seniors. I honored every last one of them. That's my responsibility, I feel, for my era, for my team, for my guys, because of what they did for me. When I start going back into something that I don't know nothing about, that I wasn't involved in, I'm going to ruffle feathers because I'm going to forget somebody, bless you, that I don't know nothing about. And that's going to be a problem. And I don't want to be put in that position. I want to be the good steward on what God has placed me over. And I feel like I am. I really do feel like the love and support that we give for this university, as well as the other sports, because we give everybody love. I don't know if you know it or not. I'm talking about soccer, lacrosse, tennis. Yeah, they call me Prime Black and Roll, by the way. Tennis, every sport, man, that I got love for. Basketball, I said it, but I really do. And I tried my best to help each program get to the next level, as well as track and cross country. But all that yesterday stuff, I don't know about that because somebody's gonna get sensitive. I have some dear friends. I know Cordell and Westbrook is my guy. We had a great talk the other night. Who else? Several guys, especially that whole lineage of corners that were great here. So it's good. It's good.
Ryland Scholes from Ralph Report. With spring practices almost over.
I wish I could just shake everyone. Can we start off with me just shaking everyone's hand?
No, he is. Oh, that works. There you go. What do you think?
Well, first and foremost, I was thinking about this today. We've all spent so much time arguing and bickering and throwing stones about this. I don't think I personally have stopped to take the time to say congratulations to Shedeur and Travis on a very, very special honor that I personally believe is completely deserved. Beyond that, this is the quote from Coach Prime today that stuck with me the most. I want to be a great steward for what God has placed me over. That could have just been the end. It could have been the entire thing right there. Coach Prime's responsibility, Coach Prime's job, Coach Prime's passion and reason why he's doing this is to do what is in front of him right now.
For sure.
And I think it's silly to even suggest that he would have a say or should have a say in what players from the past numbers should be retired. I agree with everyone, and I've stood by this take from the very beginning. I agree with everyone who believes that Colorado has a rich history of players who could also have had their jerseys retired. I disagree with everyone who believes that that has anything to do with Coach Prime, Shedeur, or Travis, and that the coach of the team right now has, retiring numbers of players that played for him is any sort of slap in the face or disrespect to anything that has happened, or erasure was a word I heard, from anything that's happened in the past. Coach Prime is doing it Coach Prime's way. And that's the way that it was always going to be. And everyone loves that idea when it's convenient for them. And as soon as Coach Prime's way is different than your way, now everyone wants to say, whoa, what's going on here? To me, I've said this about a lot of situations during this era. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. For real. Yeah. You know, and it's the same thing I said when he was being tied to all these different jobs. It's like, that's going to happen. Coach Prime is going to continue to do things that are a little different from what everyone is used to. It's all part of where this era is headed and where it's going. When Coach Prime was hired, you knew that he was going to do it his way. So let him do it his way.
Period.
Facts. It could have started and ended with when he was asked that question about honoring former Buffs. It's like, I've been here 2 years. My obligation is this team. The last 2 years, it was only this team. Like, the errors of past regimes does not fall on me, basically. Like, it should just start and end right there.
It really should. And kind of what I said the other day, it should not be controversial for statistically the most accurate quarterback in college football, who also happens to be the best quarterback in program history. It should not be controversial for that individual to have their jersey retired.
Facts.
But it is controversial, like Coach Prime said, because of the name, because of the last name Sanders, because Shedeur is Coach Prime's son. People are going to feel a certain way about it and feel like he isn't deserving. And he is. It's what I said when it was originally announced. And like you said, congratulations to those two, because that is an incredible honor to have your jersey retired at a university like the University of Colorado. And it's an incredibly deserving honor as well. And I love that. Just all made sense to me. I'm glad Coach Prime laid that out exactly how he did, because it would be like for me, who has no recollection of the history of Colorado football in terms like the way you do, or the way a lot of, alums and longtime fans of the university. It would be crazy if somebody in my position were to, try to talk about the greats and, try to give them their flowers like I was there. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't. Yeah. That should be left up to the people who really know what those guys were about and know what they meant to this program. I agree. All those guys, there are a lot of guys who should be, honored in the way that Shedeur and Travis are about to be. But that responsibility simply does not fall on Coach Prime. It doesn't. And whoever that responsibility does fall on, I'm sure Coach Prime would be willing to help and support in those efforts. But he is about taking care of his guys, the players who he has coached and who has helped him build up this program to where it is now. So anything in the past is you're just screaming at the clouds, pretty much.
And he mentioned it too. Like, he's embraced former Buffs. Cordell Stewart. I mean, how often did you see him around the program before the last 2 years? Same with Westbrook. All these guys. He's really made Colorado just cool again.
Andre Giroud's on the staff.
Exactly. Literally. Like, so I don't understand, why he has to be blamed, or like, because Shedeur was who he is, and it's like, yeah, he's the greatest quarterback in Colorado history. Cordell said it, and we're just gonna freak out because it just happened. Like, again, the comments have talked about it. Everyone's talked about it. Like, if you're deserving, you're deserving.
Yeah, I just go back to the same thing that you can apply to almost every quote-unquote controversy that happens with Colorado. Literally no one would be talking about this if it happened anywhere else.
Nope. I've never had an opinion on a college football's player's jersey being retired. Never in my life.
I do have one now. How the hell is Tim Tebow's jersey not retired? That's not our problem, but get it right,
And
Florida.
people were using that as the reason to say that Shedeur shouldn't be. What they do at Florida, what does that have to do with what's going on at Colorado?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. So it's wild.
Also, how's Florida done since Tim Tebow? Maybe they should retire his jersey.
All right. A lot to get to. A lot of news going on, too.
A lot of news going on right now.
Let's take our first break. Shout out to the homies over at Breckenridge Brewery. Go check out the farmhouse, man. That place is incredible. Great food, great beers. Also, just come hang out at the DNVR bar. It's playoff season. We're getting ready for the Nuggets and the Avs, both starting on Saturday. Saturday's going to be a crazy day here at the bar. Just come hang out. You can probably spend all day watching playoffs, watching the spring game, all that good stuff. But hit up our friends at Breckenridge Brewery and get Breckenridge Brewery using their beer locator at breckbrew.com to find a Breck Brew near you. I recommend the Mountain Beach Sour. Scotty's a big, what are you, Ridge Runner?
No.
Funslinger.
Thank you.
Funslinger guy.
Yes, sir.
So go check them out. We love Breck Brew.
Also, shout out to our friends over at Game Time. It's officially game time season for me. It's always game time season for me.
Always.
But now is the time where I really tap in with Game Time, and that's, of course, playoffs. There's just something special about being in the building for a big playoff game for the Nuggets or the Avs. And I'll be perusing Game Time every single day to see if I can get a good deal to get in the building. And almost always the answer is yes. And the best part right now, if you haven't joined Game Time, is you can go over there and use the code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Game Time specializes in last-minute tickets, so if you like to procrastinate like I do, wait until the last minute and end up getting the best possible deal on tickets. And finally, my favorite part of Game Time, you can slide the slider over to all-in pricing, so you never end up getting to your cart after you think you found some tickets that are in your price range and finding out that they actually are way out of your price range. So get over to Game Time, slide it into all-in pricing, and use the code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase.
Do we want to continue with the press conference, or do we want to talk about Cash?
The whole chat is talking about the breaking news, so let's talk about the breaking news.
Cash Cleveland is entering the transfer portal. The Buffs will have a new center starting this year. There's already a handful of candidates on the teams, Aaron McGill being one. But I'm sure they were going to attack this position no matter what was going to happen, even with Cash entering the portal.
For sure. I mean, I kind of wrote about it a couple of days ago on, the DNVR.com in terms of things we were hearing ahead of the transfer portal. Center and right tackle were positions of uncertainty, for this program, and two positions that they wanted to attack. And obviously the urgency just picks up just a little bit, right? Obviously, you mentioned Jerry McGill is still in the fold that they're transferring in from Louisiana Tech. Obviously, our guy Yo-Yo, who T-Cal was telling us last week, has really impressed him in terms of really developing in his second year now with the program, has been getting snaps at center. But yeah, we expect the center to come in here via the transfer portal here in the next couple of weeks. Somebody who has probably played a decent amount of football and somebody who's productive. Cash is somebody who I really liked. Like, Cash was my guy. I thought for sure he was my projected starter at center here this year. What he was able to do as a true freshman last year, obviously a freshman All-American, starting the second half of the year, not allowing a single sack all year. Obviously, people have things to say about maybe his frame, but Cash is a good football player, and he'll have obviously opportunities elsewhere, but this offense will move.
Yeah. First and foremost, shout out to Cash, man. Did such an admirable job when he came in last year, and seemingly just one of those people that everyone loves.
Yeah.
So obviously, like all scenarios, we're wishing nothing but the best for him. Second, and let me preface this and be very clear by saying this is certainly not directly related to Cash, but it'll just go to some of the entries that we have seen and maybe will see moving forward. I heard recently that, especially given the news that Colorado has more NIL funding this time around, that many players have been asking for more money. And again, no idea if this directly relates to Cash or not. And it's at least my understanding that, like, there's not I guess, like, every player has a number that the team believes they could go to for them.
Yeah.
And some guys have just come and been higher than they believed that they would be willing to go.
For sure.
And so that's where some of the portal entries, I think, have come from. And I think that's the right way to do it. The same way, like, we had this conversation. That's actually a huge can of worms, so I'm not going to go down that road. But I think that Colorado has a plan. they're moving forward with it, and I think they'll be okay at the position. That
They'll
being
be-
said, we're going to miss Cash.
Definitely.
Yes, they'll be fine at the position. They'll miss Cash as a personality for sure, and as someone who, a lot of talk about the standard, and this guy was a walk-on. I mean, let's not forget that he wasn't on scholarship. He basically came in and earned everything he got here at Colorado, and I think he's assuming he deserves more. So that's probably where this move stems from.
Yeah. Talk about the other breaking news.
Which one?
The video that you were watching with Coach Prime in Virginia.
Oh,
Carter
okay.
Stoutmire.
So apparently this is in Well Off today. Coach Prime said that Virginia was tampering with Carter Stoutmire. And
What did he say exactly?
let me find it here. Haven't watched it yet. I mean, do I tell the whole story here? Coach Prime's already talking about it.
Sure.
Yeah,
I don't know what the whole story is.
Who was he talking about? Who was the other guy he was talking about that Virginia is after?
Just let's start with the facts that are on the internet right now.
The quote is, "Virginia, you got to stop. I let you have one and didn't say nothing about it."
Okay. And then he related it to Carter. Was he talking to Carter? What was the?
Yeah, how do people
Again,
connect
I
this
don't
to
know.
Carter?
I watched it without the sound on. I haven't watched Well Up. I'm just looking at a tweet of it. It says Coach Prime calls out Virginia for tampering with Colorado DB Carter Stoutmire and offering him a bag. Then it's the quote, "Virginia, you got to stop. I let you have one and didn't say nothing about it."
Let you have one. I don't know of any Colorado player who's committed to Virginia yet. I wonder who he's talking about.
Yeah. Maybe a certain running back who seemed to enter out of nowhere.
Potentially.
Maybe.
We'll see. I'm sure we'll find out very soon if a player pops up committed to the Virginia Cavaliers. But, I mean, Carter did today.
Yeah, he did actually.
He
yeah.
said he was asked about the transfer portal, and he started off his answer was like, well, that's actually a tricky subject right now. And he goes on to say that
We have the video.
Oh, we got it. We'll get to it later.
Alyssa, can you play the video on Carter talking about the transfer portal?
Crazy timing. Moral of the story is Carter too loyal. A boy loyal to the soil.
It's not about the NIL. It's about the NFL at Colorado, and he's one of them who obviously has a great reasoning of that with his dad and his relationship with Coach.
For real, for real.
Ready? Yeah. All right. Here's Carter talking about the portal.
It's a tricky topic right there. From my point of view on the portal, majority of kids, when they see someone go out there and throw a few 100,000 at them, they'll jump at it immediately. So, just me personally, I just have so much loyalty to this program and stuff like that. Everything that Coach Prime has done with me since I was a kid, since I was a baby, Coach Mathis, Coach Hart, you know what I'm saying? So my loyalty is just so strong here. I don't think it's a number out there that could really get me to leave. And then people in this locker room, I just feel like we're all just so tight in and bought into the program. So thoughts of transfer portal comes up that doesn't really phase us. People that are gone, we know who it is. We know who the ones who are going to go. So we don't really give them too much mind. But those that we know going to stay, we all locked in here for good.
Locked in.
Said no amount of money gonna get him out of here.
Yeah.
You know how in video games when you go to the press conference, you can there's a bunch of different answers you can click, and you click them, and each one of them give you a boost.
Yeah.
That one had to give Carter a plus 1,000 fan favorite boost.
Yep.
No doubt.
Yep.
That was awesome.
He should be a fan favorite, honestly. Yep. I mean, this is somebody who started at 2 different positions last year, 2 very difficult and different positions, nickel corner and safety.
Played outside his freshman year.
Playing corner, right, his freshman year. I mean, this man has played all along the secondary, and I would assume that, a team potentially that reached out to him trying to drop the bag on Carter's head liked that versatility, and he would have really liked to have that as part of their program. But like Carter just said right there, he is very much loyal to Coach Prime and Coach Mathis and Coach Hart, who he's known for since he was a kid, like he said. So it's good for him. But like he said at the top there, he's not like everybody. When you get an offer, let's just say 400, 500,000, that's a lot for somebody 17, 18, 19, 20 years old to say no to. That's a lot. I don't know if I'd be able to do that. So I really can't sit here and blame kids, because that's what they are. Although we look at them as young men and, low-key professional athletes at this point. That's a tough decision to make at that age, especially if you have friends or I guess more so family that you feel like you have obligation to kind of take care of?
Bro, I remember when I was 19, I got offered $850 a month to write for a site, and I was like,
Sheesh.
hi. I was so fired up that I was going to be able to make that much money off of doing what I loved.
Hell yeah.
And then the person didn't end up paying me. Ooh. So I had to take a pay cut and go work for a more legitimate organization.
That happens in college football too.
Yeah, literally.
That's facts, actually.
You
Very
get a price
relatable.
promise and then be like, damn, that's not what I thought it was going to be.
Yep. Jaden Rashada.
Literally.
Yeah, I mean, it's happening all over the place. I will say, this transfer portal thing, man, I think that there's going to be a lot of horror stories that come out 10, 15 years from now, probably whenever they regulate it to a much more normalized thing.
Bless you.
But I just hope these guys know that there's just such a chance of it being so different wherever you go next. And the one that has been talked about quite a bit is with that dollar amount becomes expectation.
Yep.
And if you go into a place on the low end of things and you outperform that expectation, you get treated a certain way. Everyone loves you. You're the best. You know, you're killing it. Now someone else pays you maybe potentially even more than you're worth to come because they're willing to pay that extra price tag to get you to leave. Yeah. And now you go there and you're expected to be something that you might not be. And the way that you feel about your situation can change very fast.
That's true.
My pops texted me the other day. He was like, hey, can you call me when you get a chance? I got a question about the transfer portal. So I called him. And he was like, when these kids hit the portal, do they already know where they're going? And I'm like, that's a good question, Dad. Yeah. I'm like, the smart ones do.
Yeah.
Yep.
The good ones typically do know where they're going.
Yep.
The ones who are going about it the wrong way are the ones who enter the portal without a real plan about where they're going to go next. And that happens. It's the unfortunate side of things. Like we see it all the time. Dudes jump in the portal and they stay in that portal. And that's a tough place to be.
Yep.
100%. And I also think there's like a little bit of a misunderstanding from the players sometimes about what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
Like you see your teammate hop in the portal and 2 days later he's going to a new school and you're like, oh, it's that easy?
Right.
And he got a bag?
Right.
And then you didn't know that dude had been talking to that school for months. And to go back to tie this back around to, Coach Prime calling out Virginia, apparently, it's funny. And he was certainly on one today. He was ready to call out anyone and everyone who didn't come correct. But everyone's doing it. Like Virginia Tech, Michigan State, Michigan, Ohio, it doesn't matter. Every single team is tampering. And that's why players can have a plan when they jump into the portal is because there's people who reach out on their behalf. There's people sometimes who you don't even know who hits you up and say, hey, just so you know, I did reach out to Virginia and they said they would be willing to drop a bag for you to come there. Just if you're interested. If you are, let me know. I'll reach back to them. I'm only going to take 10%.
Yeah, especially if you have an agent. I mean, you can just say, hey, go see what's out there. And you can get a whole lot coming back. And next thing you know, you could be in the portal. You could be stuck in the portal. You could be on a new team.
Real quick, just because it's coming up quite a bit in the comments. Do you think that there was a discussion about Cash being on scholarship? Do you think that was a hang-up in this situation?
Well, Coach Prime was actually asked today about someone tried to come at him about the walk-ons who you've given scholarships to.
They didn't try to come at him. They just asked a question in a very poor, in a way that he didn't jive.
The point being, Coach Prime responded back, no. I've only given one walk-on a scholarship.
Yes.
So I don't think so.
Yeah. I think the question was just confusing.
I didn't really get it.
Yeah, I had a feeling I knew where the question was going, but on its face, I was just confused.
All right, let's take our next break. Shout out to our friends over at, help me, Alyssa.
Toyota.
Shout out to RK's Toyota. Do you want to tell people about your Toyota?
Sure. I absolutely love my Toyota. It's the best vehicle I've ever driven. It's not even close. I can't say enough about the features. Today I'll talk about the cruise control.
Ooh.
When I get in my Toyota, I start driving anywhere with open roads. Boom. Getting that cruise control. But it's like aided cruise control, I guess you call it. There's a better word for it. Assisted cruise control. The car not only stays at the same speed limit, it also steers itself if you're going too close to the lines.
Way.
And if you start coming up on another car, it slows down for you.
Future's crazy.
It's about as close as you can have to a self-driving car as you possibly can. It just does once about every 30 seconds say like, hey, can you please put your hands back on the wheel, you psycho? But other than that, absolutely love it. And if you want that feature or any of the other amazing features that come with the Toyota, you can go to a Front Range Toyota store at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corin Toyota in Boulder, Grew Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota's official partner of the Colorado Buffaloes and the official vehicle of DNVR.
Shout out to the squad over at Bet365, man. The NBA playoffs are here. The NHL playoffs are here. Baseball season is back, and Bet365 is the place to get in on the action. I know I got a couple of plays in on Bet365 for next week's NFL draft, which is just 7 days away, y'all. A week from today.
Thank God.
We'll have a lot of news and a lot to talk about in terms of these Buffaloes headed to the NFL. But Bet365, like I said, is the place to do, especially with basketball. Again, the playoffs, NBA playoffs back this week. With the Bet365 early payout offer, you're a winner if your team goes up by just 20 points. With an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections, they're marked as winners. All you got to do is download the app and use code DNVR365 when you sign up. New customers also now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use the code DNVR365, deposit $10, and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. They can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply.
All right. Back to Coach Prime's press conference. Portal's open. So Coach Prime was asked about what he would say to transfers in the portal who are interested in Colorado. And he gave a Coach Prime answer with this one too.
I don't think I have to explain why Colorado. I think they see that on an everyday basis. Why Colorado? I don't think I have to sit up there and sell us to anybody. I think by the time they get here, they're looking for confirmation. Our program sells itself. We do a wonderful job with Neely and Reach to People and Well Off and Snelly and all that kind of stuff. We do a great job of really exposing our program. We're going to do it. We did a great job on Pro Day. Matter of fact, all of you that covered Pro Day, you did a great job. I'm talking about a wonderful job. That was one of the best Pro Days, I was told, that many scouts had come to witness, and that's because of your coverage of it as well. So we do a good job of exposing our program. So I don't think we have to sell anything. They just want validation and confirmation.
A great job covering the Pro Day, y'all. Y'all killed that.
Thank you, man.
you.
Appreciate
Well done.
that. You too, Scotty.
Thanks, man.
Great job. Also, as soon as you asked the question, I knew that you actively avoided the words like pitch.
Sure did.
Sell.
Facts.
You tried.
Because I know he don't like them words,
Yeah.
but hey, it is what it is. I did like that answer a lot though from Coach Prime because it's true. Like with all the exposure again, like he said with Well Off and Darius Sanders, and Uncle Neely, the rest of that, like Colorado is probably the most kind of open program in college football.
It is
like,
the most open.
You have the
program,
most
yes.
access to that program. Like fans know everything, you know what I'm saying? And that the same can be for players, guys in the transfer portal. So I think that's absolutely spot on. Like I feel like a lot of players have a really good idea of what Colorado was like just on what they see on social media and YouTube and whatnot.
For sure.
And when they get to campus, all they're looking for is like, this is what I thought it was going to be like. And I feel like that's why we see the high hit rate of guys who visit and soon after they're committed. Because more times than not, before they even come on a visit, they see Colorado as a place that they want to be at. And that visit, like Coach Prime said, just really just verifies, solidifies, confirms that for them.
Yep. I mean, it's an advantage for Colorado because you get the whole program on display from all these channels for everyone to see. So they already know what to expect. If they want to go, I mean, they're basically going to commit
For sure.
half the time.
Because I wonder how many times, like, recruits go to a place like, I'm just picking a random team, but like Arkansas, and they get there and like, this is not at all what I thought this was going to be like. I feel like that typically probably doesn't happen for Colorado because you probably most times do not have a really good idea of what it's like before you even step foot in the city.
Absolutely. If I were to send a message to transfer portal potential Buffs,
What would your message be, bro?
it would be that this rocket has only just left the surface.
Yeah.
And while so many people outside think that the party's over because Shedeur and Travis are leaving, you get to be a part of what's really about to happen, which is going to blow people's minds even more.
Pretty much.
Hell yeah.
I asked Coach Prime about the offensive line, and he gave us some more nuggets on the transfer portal, including what we can expect at running back in this transfer window.
Long way. We're going to run the heck out of the ball this year. We are. I know we said that last year. We didn't get it done. We're going to run the heck out of the ball, but we improved from the previous year. But this year, with the offensive linemen that we've attained, our coaching staff that we reassembled, with the three-headed monster of coaches, as well as what Marshall Falk brings to the table, we're going to run the football. You're probably going to see two more backs out of the portal as well.
There you go. 2 more backs.
Let's go. Broncos talking about getting running backs. Buffs talking about getting running backs.
I love it.
It's a running back world now, thanks to Saquon.
It is.
Bro, you just mentioned Saquon, and this is a tangent.
Here we go. I know exactly where you're going.
Did you see this quote, bro?
No, but I know where
Oh,
you're going.
Lord. Here we go.
Did you see this quote, bro?
You're going to do this in public, bro?
I'm just going to say what I saw and speak my piece about it. Ashton Genty.
Oh, yeah. Okay, no, this isn't where I thought you were going, but now I know where you're going, and I have the exact same take.
Ashton Genty took out an ad, I believe, in the Players Tribune as a letter to NFL GMs.
Stressing me out with that water on your computer.
An NFL open letter to NFL GMs from Ashton Genty. And in one excerpt during this letter, he goes, I'm coming to the NFL to do what Saquon and the Eagles just did.
Maybe you have a different take than me.
And first off, I respect the confidence. Why don't people? And that's not really. I haven't seen really people talk about that. But like, what if Shedeur Sanders had said something like that?
That was my take.
Like, I'm about to come do what Jaden Daniels and the Commanders just did.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm gonna come in there and do what CJ Stroud and the Texans just did.
Patrick Mahomes would be even more of
The vitriol that would be thrown at Shedeur Sanders would be asinine.
Facts.
But Ashton Genty saying something I think is even crazier than Shedeur saying something like that.
Yeah.
Talking about what Saquon and the Eagles just did is just going to fly completely under the radar. In fact, people are going to like that.
Making a direct comp to the best player at the position in the league.
Crazy, dog.
That literally would be Shedeur Sanders be like, I'm about to come in there and be the next Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And everyone would flame him to the ground.
It'd be crazy.
For saying something like that. And I feel like I didn't even see any pushback. Now,
no, I haven't.
If there was pushback to Shedeur, we would obviously not miss it. And maybe we just didn't see it for Ashton Genty. But like, I'm talking former players coming out of the woodwork to say how this is unacceptable. Like, where's Emmitt Smith saying like Genty needs to pipe down? Like, I'm just not seeing it.
It's crazy, man. Double standard. Wild.
We'll talk about some running backs here in a second that could be targets for Colorado.
By the way, Ashton Genty, the Broncos, please.
Travion Henderson, bro. Here's Coach Prime giving an update on the quarterback What?
You love Travion Henderson.
Yes.
You think Ashton Genty's going to be better than him in the NFL?
Probably. But in terms of fit for the Broncos, Travion is he's literally like if Reggie Bush was with Sean Payton in today's game. That's what Travion would be if he was on the Broncos.
I mean, Reggie Bush was a Heisman winner.
I'm talking about the pros, though.
I'm just saying. There's a big difference in production.
But people were always like, oh, Reggie Bush was so ahead of his time. If he played in today's game, he would have done this. This Travion Henderson is that. That's what I'm trying to say.
I really like Travion Henderson too, but this is a big gap there.
Okay. Anyways, here's Coach Prime on the quarterback competition.
Competition to
Well,
this
they're
point.
different, totally different. They could play, man, but they approach the game totally different. But we got to be better in coaching to their strengths. We got to be better to put them in the right situations for success. But those guys could play.
So there you go. He's downplaying it. He doesn't want to give anything away with this thing. We're just going to see with our own eyes on Saturday how it's going.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't love that sentiment in terms of we have to be better at coaching
Why not?
these groups or this group at quarterback, because obviously it's those two guys, Julian and Kaidon, have a different skill set, and we all know that, and they knew that, I assume, before they recruited Kaidon out of the transfer portal. But I mean, at this point, 14 practices in, and I feel like from that it sounds like they are, as an offensive staff, still trying to figure out how to best coach these guys. And that's a bit alarming to me. I guess obviously we'll see what Saturday looks like, but yeah, Pat Shurmur, we gotta get things rolling here. You feel me?
Yep, and there's help on the way in that regard.
Of course.
Yeah,
In coaching quarterbacks.
hope so.
Soon enough. Here's Coach Prime on the decision, because he hasn't talked since this came through, on the decision to switch Folsom Field from grass to turf.
Yeah, we plan on making it to the playoffs. And we don't want to play in the frozen tundra. I don't know if the heating system that once was available, I don't know if that was still available, because we do so much in the off season. I mean, this university is a magnet for events. So when you have an event and you putting a lot of wear and tear on grass, that's kind of tough to bounce back on. And I don't know if you guys have been on the field. I assume not. But when you have evening games, it's a dew that gets on the field, and it gets pretty slippery, man. And for both teams, not just our team, but we should have some type of advantage for that. So just going to turf just assures us a better footing, a better surface, and it takes a lot of pressure off our wonderful staff that's doing the grounds. Now they can focus more on the other practice fields to make sure they're straight all year round for us.
He's exactly right. The last 2 years, I think the Oregon State game immediately comes to mind,
Yeah,
of just
slipping and sliding.
night game. Both teams just can't keep their feet. And obviously switching to turf is because they want to make the playoff. They want a home playoff game.
That should have been enough for everybody right there when he said we trying to make the playoffs.
Yep.
Simple.
I Googled, and it was like, I think it's 90 of like the 130 some FBS schools have turf.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this one's hard for me just because I felt like we always did a great job with the grass, but I'm keeping an open mind on it. And it was that the picture that you took? Is that the turf out there?
Yeah, that was today.
That's
fire.
That looked nice.
That's turf?
Oh,
Is that what you're asking? I think that's just grass still.
Whatever it was, man, they had that thing looking perfect.
that's just the regular grass. The turf hasn't been installed
Okay.
yet.
Yes.
No, I thought you were saying it. That's just like
no,
the
but
playing
they had
service
like
for
the
Saturday.
alternating lines going.
It looked good today.
Yeah, it looked great.
It looked beautiful. So
Might be the last look we ever get at it.
yeah,
Y'all are really testing me in the chat, I swear.
address them, bro.
What?
It just takes basic reading comprehension for that. Here's Coach Prime on the state of the program over these last 2 years.
I love where we are. I think we could always do better. We could always be better. We could always have several other players that make you feel better about what's going on. I feel really good about the staff. I feel really good about the support staff, where we are injury-wise. The guys that I know are going to be healthy and coming back this summer. I really feel really good about Swayze and what he's doing in strength and conditioning. I feel great about the program, man. The sky's the limit for us. I know that's old cliche, but it really is. It's on us. It's not going to be on anybody else. It's going to be on us to do what we plan on doing. And Ray Fossett, he keeps doing a tremendous job of attaining the talent that we need to get to the next level. Pretty Tony is what they call it.
So there you go. How do you feel about the state of the program through 2 and plus years?
incredible. I just
There's not a lot of people that feel that way right now. I'll tell you
No,
that.
see, that's the thing. That's the problem is people are losing sight of that shit because everyone just loves a controversy. And I think it was my guy, Tyler Ziskin, who said, like, this fan base is addicted to being mad. And I swear it's because that's a comfort zone from the years of trash football. In those years when you're down so bad, you like want to lash out about something. And so anytime something comes up, you're just like, this is ridiculous. This is a joke, whatever. Like, think about like the Rockies, like the Rockies fired their hitting coach today. I never even heard the guy's name before they fired him. I was just
Straight up.
I was pissed. Just like, really? This is what you do? I don't even know why. I don't know anything about these guys. I don't know who they're bringing in, but I'm just pissed because they suck. That's how everyone was for so long with Colorado. You're just pissed. And it then becomes like a fallback, a comfort thing to just get mad about stuff. And you lose sight of what's actually happening here, which is the revival.
Yep.
The program has been saved from, we don't even know how bad it could have gotten. I mean, best case scenario, potentially without Coach Prime, is we are sitting in the Pac-12 with Colorado State University right now.
Yeah, literally.
But because of Coach Prime, we are on our way up. And who knows how high these heights could get. So I couldn't feel better about where the program is. And I don't need to get mad about random shit just to, scratch an old itch.
Bro, I don't think that's being talked about enough, bro. With the Pac-12 going away, bro, and that being such a divisive point in history for college football in this program.
Yes.
We don't know if Colorado ends up in the Big 12 if they don't have Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, as their head coach. There is.
It would have been hard, man, if you were still going 1-11, losing every game by 30 points.
That's what I'm saying. I think there is an alternate universe where Colorado is looked at nationally on the same level as a Colorado State, right? Especially with the conference realignment. If things haven't turned out or didn't turn out like how they have the last few years, I think that is an alternate reality that people just like to ignore. It could have really gotten bad. It could have really gotten.
What are you laughing at, bro?
I almost just spit out my water at that new user who just commented, Jake's dry mac and cheese. Oh, that's good.
Oh my God, dog.
But your point is spot on.
It's wild.
This could have been, Colorado could have been in college football purgatory on its way to college football hell.
I'm gonna talk about it because the people in the chat keep bringing it up, bro. I can't for the life of me fathom why Pat Shurmur would compare Shedeur Sanders to Daniel Jones.
Oh boy!
Why the hell would he do that?
Oh God!
Why would he do that? And he's been so good throughout this process
know.
up until that point. He's been so good.
I'm
was
going to
probably-
play devil's advocate
Was
here.
he asked, leaning that way though?
We don't know.
Bro, I don't think it matters, bro. I really don't. Don't put those two in the same sentence, bro.
I agree.
Especially
It's
this
just-
close to the draft. Why would you do that?
I agree with you 100%.
I'm low-key heated about it.
I know.
Why would you do that?
I will play devil's advocate a little bit here and just say, I think that Pat Shurmur holds Daniel Jones in a much higher regard than anyone else does. And so because of that, he thinks of that as a compliment.
I know he does. He does.
Yes.
That's true. He
Yes.
thinks of it as a compliment, but
You're right. If you were gonna do it, it would be all of the best things about Daniel, this, that, or the other. But Shedeur also has more of this, that, and that.
it's infuriating, low-key. But I just had to get that off. What's next, bro?
You feel better now?
Not really.
What's up next is a bunch of news and notes. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of visits. Let's start with this. Chris Hummer tweeted this out yesterday. South Dakota offensive tackle Joe Cotton has emerged as one of the most popular names in the transfer portal. Colorado is interested. There's 20 teams that are listed in this as interested, but
Everybody in on him.
You mentioned it earlier, Scotty. Colorado is going to attack right tackle in this portal period.
Mm-hmm.
Adrian Wilson entered the portal yesterday. 4-ish months on campus, and he's on his way out. Kind of made sense. We heard a lot about Quanell, heard a lot about Quentin. Didn't hear much about Adrian.
Yeah, and I think it was 4 high schools in 4 years, something along those lines.
He had
or 3
4
high schools
commitments,
in 4,
too.
4 commitments.
No shade on the kid. Here's some of the timeline. June 2023, he commits to TCU. The next month in July, he flips to Oregon. Then March 2024, he decommits from Oregon. The next month, he commits to Arizona State. Later that year in October, he decommits from Arizona State. 2 months later, he signs with CU. And now 4 months later, he's back in the portal.
And he's already committed to UNC.
Yep. All in 22 months.
Yep.
That's 5 schools.
Yeah, it's not great. I hope that he finds a place
So do I.
that is a perfect fit for him and everything lines up and he has a great career.
Exactly. I don't know what he's looking for, but God, I hope he finds it soon.
Yeah, I'll just say this. If you had a friend who had a new girlfriend every 2 months, you would have some questions.
Yeah. But, I mean, 100%. But like I said earlier, clearly he knew where he was going when he hit that portal. So,
Yeah.
good for him.
For sure.
Tayon Parks is going to be visiting the Buffs this weekend for the spring game. The former Illinois State cornerback is listed at 6'1", 180 pounds. He had 13 PBUs and an interception this year and started every single game for the Redbirds. Young player, too, committed to the Redbirds ahead of the 2023 season as a true freshman. Primarily played special teams and had a breakout year last year. Now he's making the jump or trying to make the jump to the P4. And Colorado is interested.
Led the whole conference in PBUs.
Like that.
I like that.
Love that.
It's impressive. Again, a young guy, too, who has plenty of room to develop. And again, if he comes to Colorado, he'll receive the best coaching, specifically at his position, that he can get anywhere in college football. So I would love to see Tayon Parks become a Buff.
He was one of the guys that T-Cal mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that other Illinois State corner who's also in the portal
Yep.
is nice, too. I think his name is Mark Cannon Jr., I believe.
I think you're right.
Both of them are dogs.
Big visit on the recruiting front. Felix Ojo, 5-star offensive tackle, is going to be visiting Colorado on an official visit May 2nd through the 4th. He's a consensus top 5 tackle. 247 has him as the 7th overall player in this class. On 3 has him as the 10th overall player in this class. He is ranked at worst, the second best recruit in the state of Texas for this upcoming recruiting class.
I didn't realize he was from Texas.
6'7", 274.
Let's go.
Big fellow.
Massive news.
Also,
So,
I was going with the pronunciation of Ojo.
sure.
Either way, that name, he's gonna be good. You gotta trust me on these things.
No, I mean, top 10 player in the whole class. I mean, that's... And you say he coming, what, weekend, May 2nd?
May 2nd through 4th, yeah. So about 2 weeks after this weekend.
I'm hearing that might be a big weekend for visitors.
Oh, yeah?
I'm hearing that might be a big weekend for
Alright.
visitors.
I also am
Potentially.
hearing that.
So keep an eye on that.
Former Auburn safety Terrence Love will also be visiting Boulder for the spring game this weekend. On 3 has him ranked as the top available safety in the transfer portal. Has only played in 22 games, primarily on special teams the last 2 years. But Colorado has had success with some of these guys. I mean, notably Colton Hood, who came from Auburn this time last year. Very minimal production, but in line for a big role. And the On 3 rankings reflects that, giving him the top safety ranking.
I like his size. 6'2", 200, right?
I
sure?
do not have that in front of me.
I think he's 6'2", 200. We love that in the safety. I know Coach Prime loves that in a defensive back in particular. And like you said, it's kind of a similar, kind of build. Obviously, you're not going to see a ton of production from him at his previous stop, but I would assume that's maybe part of the reason he's in the portal in the first place, that he believes that he has the ability to, put his talents on display at another school. So I think Terrence Love would be a great add. And I think safety is just a position you have to add this spring transfer portal. I think you just have to. We know what we're going to expect, at least out of Carter. We're hoping to get a lot of Tawfiq Bayard. And speaking of Tawfiq Bayard, Carter Stoutmire today, I thought we were going to get that clip, but Carter called Tawfiq one of the smartest football players he's ever been around. And he said Tawfiq and Cameron Stillman-Craig are like 1A and 1B in that regard in terms of smartest football players he's ever been around.
That's so big.
It's big time. And this team needs Tawfiq Byer to be who we think he can be.
One of the most underrated attributes in college football is football IQ.
Hell yeah.
And teams that have players with really high football IQ will beat teams that might have more talent.
Definitely.
Because that's just such a valuable thing, and it's not something that you can like see on TV. You know what I mean?
Last thing I got, the running back from South Alabama we talked about on Tuesday, Kentrell Bullock. Yeah, forget everything I said. He withdrew from the portal. He's staying at South Alabama. So,
which is kind of shocking to me. Usually when someone enters the portal and returns, it's because like the school that they were at, they're usually at a bigger school, and the school that they're at does something to keep them. When you're at South Alabama and high major programs are offering you, usually the school is not going to be able to do anything to keep you around. So that's an interesting one.
That is. That's basically all I got for today. It's been it's portal season, bro.
Yep. We got a bunch of questions though.
One more thing, it's also portal season for basketball. Obviously, Colorado basketball got its first commit out of the portal today. UC Riverside transfer Barrington Hargris averaged 20 points per game this past season at UC Riverside, 4 assists as well. He had 31 points in the game against Colorado State this year. He also hit a buzzer-beating half-court shot to send that game into overtime in Fort Collins. He also dropped a 40 ball against UC San Diego in January, so it's a pretty good ad for Tad Boyle to kind of start this transfer portal cycle here on the basketball side.
That's a huge get for Colorado. And just to put it into quick perspective, Colorado's highest profile transfer in last year was take your pick of Elijah Malone,
or
who was coming from NAIA, or Trevor
Yakumovsky.
Baskin, who was coming from Division II.
Could have been him.
Wazoo.
But I think it's probably take your pick. Like they're probably similar. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so yeah, you could go Yakumovsky coming from Washington State. Either way, for them to get a player who's averaged 20 points a game and is like a legit scorer, bona fide scorer, is big.
First team all conference this year. Point guard too, which is what they need for sure.
That's it. If you are watching us on your television, we are headed to overtime. Head on over to thednvr.com. We're going to wrap up the show over there. We got a few questions to answer. Who's up first? What's up, DJ Flame? He says, what's up, gents? F them Chiefs. I'm sending this strictly because RK cooked a whole meal on Tuesday in reference to the jersey retirement.
Appreciate you, DJ Flame.
Kev, what's up? Oh, Lord. I wish Adrian Wilson didn't jump in the portal this soon. He just got to see you, but he should be in good hands with Belichick and his little sugar baby at North Carolina. Good luck to him and Slit to DNVR. Thank you, Kev. Thank you.
Did you see the videos of her, like,
what is happening?
Holding court at practice?
Yeah.
I don't know.
If that was anywhere else.
Meanwhile, Colorado just exists, and holy shit.
Oh my God. I just thought of the, like, what if this happened at Colorado? The think pieces and rants and
It'd be sick, bro.
It'd be unbearable.
Circus accusations.
DJ Flame to you again says, this is my donation to keep Scotty Deep Pockets from entering the transfer portal.
Hey, that's appreciated, Flame. You ain't got to worry about that.
And then he goes,
no tampering. Chill out, Virginia.
Then DJ Flame goes, RK, you're a DNVR guy. ESPN comes to you with a bag of $3 million. Are you entering the portal?
Hell no. Dead ass. Well, what am I going to do for ESPN?
That's a great question. I do not know.
You think they're going to throw me on the draft and be like, this guy's name? You guys
know
don't
what?
understand.
They just put you on anytime they talk Coach Prime in Colorado,
Thanks.
just for someone to like to argue against, so that all the other panelists can get their
Honestly.
bad takes off, and you can just keep going with them.
That would... All right. You know what? ESPN, call me up.
You just talked it into it. That's crazy.
$3 million? All right.
You want to talk ideal role? That's what it would be at ESPN.
I'm like let's go to our resident Colorado expert, RK.
Then DJ Flame
Hey,
says,
go Bucks,
Jake D for
wow.
being loyal to Buff Nation. Yes, sir. Thank you. Don Peasy, this tampering is out of control. Adrian Wilson is whatever to me, but McCoy in this Cash Cleveland one hurts.
Yeah, I mean, Cash was obviously already climbing up the fan favorite rankings.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But man, it's can't get too attached these days.
You really,
Really
can't.
can't.
Maybe that's another thing that was so nice about Travis and Shedeur. It's like you could put all of your emotion into them.
Yeah.
You didn't have to worry about them leaving.
Right. That's it. Boy, what a day.
What were you laughing about? What was the comment that sent you?
Go Bucks. Can you just scroll up a little bit, Alyssa, for me? Right there.
Jesus H, bro.
Oh my god.
Y'all need help, man. You really need help.
Talk to him, broski.
Oh, speaking of needing help, bro, my guy at the press conference today who just got pressed into oblivion by Coach Prime.
Bro, that's going to be his origin story, bro. I bet 20 years from now, bro, he's going to be one of the best reporters in the game, bro. And he's going to be like, it all started one day in a Coach Prime presser. And he pressed me. and I was changed from that moment.
Facts. I was just listening to that and like as soon as he introduced himself, I can hear like, just a little
stutter.
Stutter in the voice. I'm like, oh, it's a young kid. And then he gets pressed and then he throws his boy under the bus.
I know.
Just trying to
He
get
had
out
to,
of
though.
it.
Coach Prime was like, who? Tell me who. He had no
Yeah,
choice.
dude, like his bro is just sitting there doing this. The meme of the guy was like, me?
That's my guy Sasquatch.
I really just wanted to put my arm around him in that moment and be like, it's all gonna be okay.
You will be all right, bro.
He'll be all right.
Grow from this.
He'll be all right. There's not much else to say on that topic. All right. Yeah, all right. Tomorrow, I guess pregame show of sorts, some would say.
Yeah.
And then Friday, or tomorrow's Friday. Saturday, we'll be live after the spring game. The weather is taking a bit of a positive turn.
Yeah,
but
I was gonna say, since we've been on the show, we've gained a degree in the high. We're up to 43.
and I think the chance of snow has gone down decently too.
Yeah, it's not even on the icon anymore.
As long as it's not so rain. We're not getting rain.
Well, I don't know about rain.
Let me see.
That's just the thing I can't have. I can't have rain, bro. We can't do that.
Snow is very doubtful, I think, at this point.
Chance of precipitation for the day is 30%.
Reef, what's to you, bro? Can you just scroll up one more?
Bro, what does that even mean?
Hey, Reef, what's to you, bro? No, that's a fire comment from Corey Bingham, though. He goes, you guys are the perfect trio to be there reporting on the revival from beginning to end.
Thank you, thank
Oh,
you.
yeah, thank you.
It's been a ride.
Never a dull day.
No. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow for spring game, pregame, and then post game Saturday. Portal's just getting started. Stay tuned.
Let's get it.
Let's go Buffs.
Let's go Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.